You're listening to the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. This episode is sponsored by Deese Real Estate and Property Management. Deese Real Estate specializes in helping out-of-town and local investors buy profitable properties while having a little fun along the way, and is probably the best agent and property management company in Spokane. For more information, go to deeserealestate.com. And by G3 Homes. G3 Homes invest in real estate across Washington State, creating beautiful homes to live in. G3 Homes is the proud producer of the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. To learn more and see our latest projects, check out g3-homes.com today. Well, welcome back to the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast, your go-to podcast for Washington State real estate investors and all aspect of real estate investing. I'm your host, Jeff Udick, and I'm excited to be able to share stories, insight, and encouragement from other investors across Washington State. Our goal is to bring you 2 episodes each month, one focused on investing on the east side of the Cascades and one investing on the west side of the Cascades. We know how diverse Washington State is, and what works in one market, say Tacoma, might not work in another market, say Yakima. Our goal is to bring you insight into different markets across the state, talking with real estate professionals from wholesalers and real estate agents to contractors, loan officers, and of course, investors to try and help all of us better understand the real estate market in this amazing state of ours. We're only 3 episodes into this new podcast, and already we've had over 100 downloads. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't already added us to your favorite podcast app so you don't miss any episodes, I encourage you to do so now. All you have to do is search for the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast and click subscribe. We appreciate you continuing to help us out by spreading the word around the investment community here in the state of Washington. I know there are different Facebook groups and different websites committed to supporting real estate investors in the state. Help us spread the word on this new way to connect, learn, and grow together. Also, if you'd like to share insight into how you invest, what you are seeing in your neck of the woods, or have other advice for those in the real estate investing profession, feel free to fill out our guest form on our website, EASTSIDE under the Contact tab. We'll have a link in the show notes as well. Already, our guests and show sponsors have commented on new leads and clients they've received from listeners. If you've never thought about sponsoring a podcast before, check out the sponsor tab at our website, EASTSIDE. The great thing about being a sponsor on a podcast is your sponsorship never goes away. It's not like buying a Facebook ad that you run only for a week or two or buying a Google ad. The cool thing about podcasts is that once it's recorded in the podcast, it's there forever. You pay once and your information about your company is forever in front of listeners. So years from now, people listening to the podcast will still hear your sponsorship. If you have questions on how it works, feel free to reach out to me. I've been podcasting since 2007, back when the iPod, for which podcasting is named after, still had the big round wheel you scrolled to find your favorite tunes. We're building something cool here, and you're going to want to be a part of it. This week, I had a chance to chat with 2 of my favorite twins from Spokane, Jeff and Jerry Hornberger, from the Hornberger Group, about their investing history and insight into the Spokane market. What's hot, what's getting hotter, and in one of the top real estate markets in the country. I'm excited for all of you to hear and learn from Jeff and Jerry. And with that, on with the show. All right, welcome back to the Washington State Real Estate Investing Podcast. I still got to find a shorter name for this thing, or find some way to make it shorter. It's just like it takes for me forever just to introduce this. But, awesome to be here. I'm here with 2 good friends of mine, Jerry and Jeff from Spokane. I'll let you guys tell your story here in a bit. But Jerry, we met Jerry when we started our investment and needed property managers, and met with Jeff and Jerry, and they were our property managers for a long time and helped us grow our business, which is fantastic. And so I'm excited to get them on the podcast and listen to their investing history and where you're focused now, again, in the kind of the Spokane, greater Spokane area. So welcome to the show. And let's get started. I don't know who wants to start, Jerry or Jeff, but kind of maybe tell your history of real estate, where you're coming from and how'd you get here?
Yeah, I'll let Jeff kind of go on. He's been an agent longer than I have. So I'll let you kind of go in a little bit, and then I'll kind of tab into it.
So no, I appreciate you having us on, man. Super cool. So first podcast we're doing. So yeah, this is awesome.
That's good.
So yeah, I got my license 13 years ago. And so I got my license after when I was 19. So right out of college, we were doing the college and I was working at a gym and studying at the license at the front desk. So yeah, I've been licensed for a little while. Early on, I got hooked on bigger pockets, like super, super, super early.
Yeah.
So in terms of the real estate investing, my background really goes through, investing. So that's my passion. That's where my heart is. And so my wife and I, we bought a condo in Liberty Lake and I kind of realized, hey, we're living paycheck to paycheck a little bit here. Mm. And so there was a deal. This was back in 2010. Yep. And when REOs were a big thing so there was a duplex. It was like, this is what started my whole journey, was this one duplex on 16th here in the Valley, man. The price tag on it was like $100,000, I think. Wow. 2-bedroom, 1 bath each side, carports out front. And it was a bank-owned deal. And the agent, I knew her really well, or at least I think my mom knew her really well. But we actually just picked up a couple of flips from her. So we still have a really great relationship with
that's
her.
Great.
Anyway, so yeah, I was an owner-occupied investor. And so I got first dibs on it. Ended up going 15,000 over, had them pay my closing costs, and Carrie and I moved into one side, and we sold the condo because when I was running numbers, I was like, shoot, we're only gonna make $50 on this thing. I got to replace a water heater and never go for a whole year. But now fast forward, if we were to hang on to the condo, we would probably made 150K. So,
right. Yeah.
Hindsight's always 20/20. But
of course.
So yeah, we started out doing the house hacking thing and ended up investing into another duplex and a few other things and just kind of going from there. But my passion is real estate investing. And in 2017, we started a Homevestors franchise. It's like the We Buy Ugly Houses company.
Okay.
And so my wife and I got a franchise and Jerry was always a part of the plan. So he's got the contracting background. He's got the degree in carpentry and that kind of thing. And he's helped build houses, that kind of thing. We kind of mesh well when it comes
I guess you're bringing the contractor side of things and you've got the investor side of things. That's a good partnership right there in the family.
Yeah. So flipping houses and stuff, it just kind of comes natural. Of course I got my real estate license in 2015, went to carpentry school, learned how to build houses basically. Got experience on that, and then got my license, and then became a property manager, and did that for several years, and really really enjoyed that. And that just we've always just kind of been morphing into that investing side. Jeff kind of started it with the duplexes and what he's got now, and then I've just been kind of following along a little bit, and just kind of growing it slowly but surely.
Awesome. Awesome. So where are you at now? Like how much real estate do you have? What's your, how much are you focusing on buy and holds, flippings? You're both real estate agents. You run a property management company. Or do you still have the wholesale? Do you still do the?
Yeah, we've pivoted a little bit, man, because we actually just opened up our own brokerage. You haven't announced anything. Called the Hornberger Group.
Congrats.
And thanks, man. Yeah, we've got a core focus of investors here, and we want to create a lead machine of off-market deals, and that is our drive, and that's our value to folks. Whether you're an investor or just somebody looking for something specific, and in the Valley for a 3-2 with a hot tub. I don't know. Yeah. But no, we my mom and I actually got into the property management stuff, and then Jerry started the maintenance side. And so we grew that to 300 and some doors.
Wow.
And then, Jerry and I have always kind of had this dream to kind of be, we wanted our name on the paper that said, you own this business. And so eventually we ended up parting ways. And so we're running the Hornberger Group as of a week and a half ago, and Homeland still is a thing. We still refer clients over to their property management company, but we wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit more. I love property management, and that's our background, and we know it really well. But in time, that business will be coming over to the Hornberger Group, and we can add even more value to folks. But for right now, we're focusing on the brokering side. But to answer the questions, what we have, we've got, I think, 15 doors right now. So we've got a couple of we're starting to get a little more into the Airbnb stuff.
Okay.
Got a Perry deal that I'm waiting for these tenants to move out. As soon as that would happen, we'd have that one. And we've got some stuff under the Hornberger property. So we've got two properties, two single family homes under our business together, and then a vacant duplex lot that we plan on building.
Okay.
And then my wife and I have a couple of fourplexes and a couple duplexes. So
mostly in the valley, or you kind of spread all over?
I love the valley. Mostly in the valley. I love the valley. I think the
Jeff, we love the valley.
Yeah. I know. I love the valley too.
Yeah, I think the valley's great, man. I think utilities, a lot of things, that's the one thing that a lot of out-of-state investors, when out-of-state investors approach me, we hop on a Zoom, we go over the whole city, and I go over why do you want to invest in this area versus this area? And just from a utility cost standpoint is a lot different.
So true.
A lot of people don't understand how the utilities are built. And sometimes that can mean cash flow in your pocket if you're not,
Well, you're only paying $27 for water.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Yeah.
I know I'm not wrong. We've got a fourplex in the valley. It's just like that fourplex. Every time I get the water bill, I'm like, this is it? That's the water bill?
I know. My tenant's like, do you want to fill up a swimming pool? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost that much.
Yeah. And I've known that for a long time, just because where that comes from. My dad actually sat on the water board for quite a few years, and most people don't know this, but the reason why electricity and the water system is because they were federal programs back in the day. And so it was a federally funded program that put in the waterworks. And to this day, it's all ran by federal, it's all backed by federal money. And so it's this very low rates. And even being farmers, farming out in the valley, your water bill is zilch, comparable, right? It's so low compared to other places. And the same thing with the power grid. They're Virdel. I think it's now Modern Electric out there, but this is good for people to know, is they're guaranteed to never go down because of the aluminum plant, Kaiser, that I don't even know if Kaiser is still working out there anymore.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Or is Kaiser still going?
Yeah.
So during World War II, they were building airplane parts in Kaiser, and the federal government came in and put in all the power to run Kaiser and guaranteed that power will never go out.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And so if you're running down that Sprague, Viridel, the whole Viridel power system and stuff, even when I lived there during ice storm of 96, if people remember, my parents were out, my parents live out off Barker, no power anywhere, but the strip right down Sullivan never lost power. And everybody's like, why? I'm like, well, you got to understand where you live, man. You live in that power swath. We're right there for Kaiser. And it's cheap. It's unbelievably good. Yeah. Just a great cost saving things. But you've got to know that stuff, right?
Yeah. You do. Yeah, you do.
A little quick background, geeking out about the valley a little bit, but
I love it. You learn something new every day, man.
Yeah. It's quite cool how all that came together out there. So, what are some different ways that you guys support investors? We talked a little bit about you've got Homeland Properties, which is the property management group. Investors come to you, or you help buy and sell, you help flip. Where are you with just supporting investors through this?
Yeah. I mean, we right now we're in that process of trying to create the systems for the off market, being basically, like he was saying, just an off market lead machine. Okay. So that not only that, but you also, running the property management side of things, just having that rental background, having, being in that off market, the investing world, it's kind of nice just to, if you're an investor yourself and being able to be an agent, you're just, you have that background to be able to help them out.
I think so. What I do too is I kind of put myself in their shoes, so sometimes, everybody knows Spokane's going crazy. Our median income price is just skyrocketing everywhere, multi-family, single family, whatever, dog houses. So it's just nuts. So it's you put yourself in their shoes on what they would need to set up out of state, and you have your team, right? Your agents, your property managers, maybe an attorney. And you really need to, so we try to be that source for folks that they can trust, that there's, I'm not going to say a full one-stop shop, but pretty dang close.
Close.
I mean, so we have experience in a lot of flips, and so, somebody comes to me and they're like, I really need good deals, or this investor says, well, I need, a 10 cap or something, or, this. And I'm like, well, you better be buying from wholesalers so I can connect with you in town. Yeah. So, it's just, having that background in all kinds of different things, from contracting and flipping to property management, we can really educate, and then you can really serve your clients at a different level than normal.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about, like, you said you're starting to get into the Airbnb thing. Where do you see that going in Spokane? Because I don't think many people think of like Spokane as like an Airbnb place. Like it's not like out on the coast. It's not like it's not really a like vacation destination, which is I think where most people think of when they think of Airbnb. Yeah. How are you seeing it? Where are you seeing it?
Yeah. So Spokane, my wife and I have been looking into this pretty hot and heavy. I mean, we did some creative financing with a couple of fourplexes, and included like a wrap and did some funky stuff. So the whole Burr thing is going on. We're about to, we pulled some cash out and maybe some extra ones. So these units, there's 8 total, and 4 of them will be doing a short-term rental strategy. And the whole reason we actually got caught on this is 31st and Pines.
Okay.
Area, like a Whipple and Lenora. Yeah. You could street view it and really find it. I know you're familiar with Spokane for sure. So you wouldn't think of that area for Airbnb. You're not next to a college, you're not next to like the things that you mentioned. So, but we've seen the demand, and you can go to AirDNA and pay for the data, and just really dive in that way. But we've seen good demand. A buddy of mine owns a fourplex, 3 doors from the one that I own. And he's Airbnb 3 of them, and he crushed it last year, and is doing really, really well. So,
and who's coming in? Who's renting them on short term? Do you know?
So I've asked him that, and it's like, it just seems like it's all over the board, from folks just in for a certain event, whether it's a wedding, it could be
Gonzaga basketball game.
It could really be anything. Yeah. It's just, whether you're in to see your kid or something, or you're out of state, like whatever it could, and so, so a 2-bedroom, 1 bath is like I'm projecting around 120 a night. Wow. And we're remodeling these units. They've got white, shaker cabinets, and they're nice. But you'd just be really surprised on what works as far as the Airbnb stuff. And when you come down to it, after running all the numbers, it's, we manage the properties ourselves, so that tends to help. But we've got a gal that I used to personally be the property manager for, and I know she turned one of her duplexes on Bowdish. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 950 square feet. And so since October, she's using Vacasa.
Okay.
As a vacation rental. And since October, she's had 4 vacancies, 4 days.
Wow. 4 days.
4 days. Yes. And so the charge is 30%. So they take it. But really, for her, and honestly, man, it's not just that. It's not just like the cash flows stronger. It's the laws, man. So, it's just a little different ballgame when these laws are changing like this all the time. Right. Going into the short term is a decent play.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm hearing, and I don't know if you're hearing this too, but like your place lasts longer. Like there's difference when, somebody's living in it day in, day out, long-term rental. Like there's positives to that. Like there's guaranteed cash flow and that, that type of thing. But I'm hearing over and over again, that's just like, but when people are there for 2 days, they don't beat the place up. Everything's lasting longer. It looks newer because you're getting in there and cleaning it, or you're seeing leaks or whatever it happens before. Right. If a tenant doesn't tell you there's an issue, you don't know. And you're in there like cleaning the place after every visit. You kind of, you're managing these yourself right now, huh?
Well, we're going to start, and then we're going to develop a team here at the Hornberger group to get into the Airbnb stuff. I think things happen in funny ways. Things are put in front of you in funny ways. And so it's funny how many different people have been reaching out and saying, hey man, do you manage Airbnb and stuff? I'm like, well, you ask me in a year from now, I'm going to be really experienced. Yeah. Right now, I'm not your guy. We're going to test the waters. I have another client. And he's like, hey, just help us out. And, and I said, well, don't, I was like, you have to give me some grace here. You have to know I'm learning too. So if you want to learn with us, then let's do this. But anyway.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the Spokane market as you see it. We know it's been hot. I wish it would stop popping up in like Forbes best places to live / invest. That's just killing us. As everybody wants into this market, but where do you how hot is it? And where do you kind of see it going? And are you seeing any slowdown, or kind of just give us a kind of a big overview if you can?
We're really hoping that, there should be some interest rate hikes. So I think, and we were kind of discussing this too. We think in probably springtime, it's going to be, popping probably, but I think, we did see a slowdown at the end of July. Everyone was like, hey, are you guys noticing this and this? And I think it was just buyer fatigue basically, but there is going to be 4 interest rate hikes. I think they hauled it for, they didn't do one now, but I think they're going to be doing it in March. So I think eventually, I think every interest rate hike, about 5% of those buyers are going to be out of the market because maybe their debt to income ratio is just too high. So it is going to have a little bit of an effect. Hopefully I don't see it crashing. So if anyone's waiting for it to crash, I really don't see that happening. I just don't. But I hope it slows down because it's
yeah, right. It's just hard to get in. It's hard to do anything.
Yeah, but the rents are skyrocketing. It's amazing to see where rents were even from a couple of years ago to what they are now. Like what you're getting for a 3-bed, 2-bath house, maybe 2,000 square feet, you're cresting into that $2,000 range now, which is, I know a couple of years ago, I think we tried to get 2,100 for a house that was on the lake with lake view, and we could we got I think 1995 because it was slow going. So it's just amazing to see where the market is right now.
And do you feel like, I've been reading lots of articles about just how many people are moving into Spokane. Are you feeling that? Or, I know that's part of this, but you're seeing there's, I was reading an article the other day that the number one people coming to Spokane are leaving Seattle. Like Seattle's the number one place that people are moving to Spokane from. Yep. Are you seeing that? Are they wanting the Valley? Are there certain places that you see that seem to be hotter than other places for investors?
So I think that it's funny how many people just want, there's a couple areas in Spokane that appreciate pretty dang strong, in my opinion. And they have to do with the walkability of stuff. So some people call in and say, I wanted to be able to walk to different things. So the Perry District, the Garland District, the, Cliff Cannon, Rocket Bakery, the Browns Edition stuff.
Right.
So, but in terms of the folks, I can speak from the investing side and out-of-state investors. There's a ton of out-of-state money and at least out of the area money coming in. It's really just all about your alternatives,
right?
And even as cap rates get, compressed here, like I've never seen, it still looks attractive because where they're at, it's even worse.
Right.
But yeah, folks, moving here it's just a quality of life thing, and we've got a few big heavy hitters in town that are moving in. And so I think other corporates are looking at those folks and like Amazon and saying, hey, yeah, we can do this here like them,
Yeah. Yeah. And the you've got the new track stadium downstairs. Downtown, there's a new football soccer stadium going in. Now there's talk about a soccer team coming. You just think about where Spokane, you start looking at some of that, just the core infrastructure of downtown Spokane, which really could use a little upbeat from where it is. There's a lot coming in that way. And then just, everything headed out into the Valley, Liberty Lake area, I think it's just going to constantly, you've got the great school districts out there and,
and that's really what you find, like even getting best rents and stuff. People love the Valley, South Hill, and then higher North Side. Those are always my 3 go-to. Yeah.
It's like you speak of Liberty Lake, and I know Tesla's coming in and they're building out like a Kendall Yards ish.
Wow. In Liberty Lake, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So that's incredible. If people want to learn more about, you're just getting this home grid group off the ground, congrats on that. Where should people go to learn more, to reach out to you, to just to get involved?
Yeah. Facebook, we're going to have we have a YouTube channel. I think we're literally rebranding everything.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting question. So
it's a good time to release the podcast.
Yeah. So update the show notes. Yeah. But YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and or just hit up.
We'll have all of those dialed in, but emails. So Yeah.
And you're still doing off-market deals. So you have a list where investors can sign up and get on your list for off-market deals? Is that on the website, I take it?
It's so actually it's not on the website. You've got to reach out directly just because, we really like to see kind of really what you're looking for and kind of dial that in a little bit. And so,
So contact form on the website or something and contact you directly.
Yeah. We can send over a link. And then there's a contact landing page and then you can, go from there.
Yeah. That sounds great. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Congrats on growing the business and getting to the next level and continuing on with stuff. I think, the Spokane market, the more people we talk to, everybody's just saying the same thing. They're like, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for everybody. It is a hot market. So you do have to do your due diligence and be on top of things, which is why, going off market deals is about the only place that you can make things work, or you got to get very creative with your financing stuff. And so there's
not a secret anymore, man.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? The secret is out. The secret is out. What about places like Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene? Do you guys do much over on the Idaho side of things? Because I hear it's just blowing up over there.
Yeah, it's probably worse than Spokane, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
It's just a lack of inventory.
Yeah, I've always felt like it's like $100,000. Like if you're looking at a duplex, a 3-2 with a 1-car garage, you're going to pay 100 to 150, even more over just over there. So
just by crossing the state line.
The rents aren't really that much stronger.
Interesting.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but not.
Yeah.
But I think it's true. There is a lot of people going over that direction, and the lack of inventory is. I mean, you go through Post Falls, you used to just see farmland.
Right.
Now you're just seeing apartments and housing developments, and there's still a ton of farmland. And so I've always, Jeff and I, we want to get into developing eventually. And man, that would be nice to get a chunk of land out there.
But they just didn't build a lot of multifamily stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's all single family over there.
Yeah. They just didn't build a lot of inventory. Like the Valley here built a ton of inventory. So it's just a ton of split level duplexes.
Well, and I think Coeur d'Alene was kind of like a destination area too. Yeah,
it was for so long.
Yeah, you had the lake. You didn't have like these big companies out there, so it was mostly just single family houses, second kind of home type thing. Yeah. And then Post Falls was really small, but then just kind of, I think Spokane's really helped that, to be honest. So because there's a lot of people that work or that live in Idaho come to Spokane for work. So anyway.
Yeah. And as long as the traffic doesn't stay too bad, it's still like, I mean, I've talked to a couple of like Seattle people that have moved to Spokane, and they're like, oh, are you kidding me? The traffic is nothing. Like what Spokane people consider a slowdown is not even like worth mentioning on this.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to sit with me, because if I'm slowing down on the I-90, I'm like, what the heck is going on?
It's slowing down to the speed limit, and people are like, what's going on? Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for taking time out of your busy schedule. We'll make sure that all the links are in the show notes so people can reach out to you. We'll have links to your Instagram and everything else so people can follow you and be able to reach out and see how you can support investors in the Spokane area. Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.